Hello, everyone. I'm Dwayne Dow on Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. I've been doing these events now for about 2 years, effective tonight. And boy, have we seen some great excitement on Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour featuring the top women bowlers across the United States. With me working on the telecast here in the Dallas Classic is Chris Zahn. Chris is a veteran professional. She's out of Tempe, Arizona. She's had her share of thrills on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, and I know you're looking forward to commentating on what should be an excellent finals here in Dallas.
Yes, Dwayne, we have a great finals in store, and we have a lot of good lady bowlers to talk about.
Well, I'm very impressed on the size of the original field. 88 women tried to make these finals here in Dallas.
We have a brand new program down in this area. It's been developed to create more bowling for the lady bowlers. It's a regional program, and they get to come out on the weekends. So they've had a national stop now, and I'm sure they're real happy about it.
Also, the fans have shown up in great numbers this week during the Dallas Classic.
They have been just absolutely terrific. They've been here all the different qualifying rounds. They've been through the finals. There's been a lot of good games, and they've been cheering us right along.
Okay, looking forward to working with you. Let's take a look at our stepladder finals now, and here's the way it shapes up. Now, in the first match, we have Lisa Rathgeber, who was Bowler of the Year in 1983, taking on veteran professional Pam Buckner. The winner of that first match will meet a tough customer, Dana Miller, in match 2. The winner of the second match will take on the player who was seeded number 2 heading into the finals, Romeo. The survivor of the first 3 matches will meet tournament leader Aleta Sill. Now we'll take a look at those players close up as Chris talks about each one of them. Right now, stand by for thrills. This is Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. And so, with the women warming up before the star-studded field sets off for the $5,000 top prize money. Let's go to Chris Zahn now as we check the field, our 5 bowlers on the Dallas Classic Finals.
In the 5th position, we have the reigning Bowler of the Year, Lisa Rathgeber, from out of Florida. She opened the year with a victory and has 2 other top 5 finishes and is looking for her 5th title here in Dallas. Pam Buckner of Reno, Nevada is the number 4 bowler. She has the most experience in our top 5 and is trying for her first title in over 3 years.
Yeah, she looks happy and confident.
The winner of the first match will meet Dana Miller of Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's already won the Houston Classic and is hoping that Texas will be doubly good to her.
Yeah, she has been red hot. Great style, the left-hander from Albuquerque.
Romeo from Beverly Hills, California is in 2nd place. This is her 4th TV appearance in 1984. She needs to win just 2 matches to claim another title.
Woman with a winning personality and great talent.
The top seed is also the defending champion, Aleta Sill of Cocoa, Florida. She's had such a great year. She's already won 3 titles and is the tour's leading money winner. She's bowling extremely well and could be very tough to beat.
Indeed. All right, now they are setting out for that top prize of $5,000. Now the 5th place finisher in these televised finals in Dallas will pick up, as you see, $1,000. As you see, the graduated amounts heading up to that $5,000 and this beautiful trophy. Chris Zahn and I will be back for the finals of the Dallas Classic on Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. And so we're ready to start our finals here in Dallas. We're still warming up and looking to our first matchup. It'll be Lisa Rathgeber versus this woman, the left-hander out of Reno, Nevada, Pam Buckner. Maybe a comment from you, Chris, on her style?
Pam has changed it just slightly. She strokes through the ball a little bit better instead of snaps through at the foul line.
All right, and now maybe as we see Lisa Rathgeber, there's a good shot of Lisa, and what a year she had in 1983, huh?
She certainly did. She was Bowler of the Year, and she lived up to every moment of it. She was first in every category.
So now we'll have the traditional handshake and the start of the finals. The Dallas Classic, as the women in ring center, as it were, face each other. And we are ready to go. There's the crowd in Dallas. And they really have enjoyed what they've seen in the non-televised portion of this tournament with some excellent scores.
They sure have. As I said before, they've been out during the qualifying and the finals, and they're very knowledgeable here in Dallas, so they know what they're looking for when it comes to talent, and they appreciate
Buckner.
it.
First shot of the Dallas Classic Finals as Buckner with plenty of speed in the pocket there.
She came through that ball nice and easy, did not snap as was her old way. Let the ball roll.
Her old way.
Her old way was to snap at the foul line.
Yeah, she used to
bring it up real
that
fast.
hand reel. She's getting away from that, eh?
She is, yes.
Okay. Now Lisa Rathgeber out of the state of Florida. What a player. Woman Bowler of the Year in 1983. From outside and striking. Okay, so we're strike to strike at the end of frame one. The winner of this match will take on Dana Miller out of New Mexico. And here is Lisa coming up in the second frame. She won this spring in Florida for her only tour victory, and she had a chance to win the United States Open, but made a crucial error in the 10th frame, paving the way for Karen Ellingsworth's victory. Second frame here. We got racquetball versus racquetball here. If this is any early indication, they're both showing a lot of speed so far, Chris.
Yes, Lisa is a little bit slower than we've seen her in the past, but she's extending through the ball. That one hooked a little bit on the back end, well, a little faster into the pocket, leaving the 4-7.
Now, Lisa's nickname has been the Rocket, and she has tried to consciously cut down on that speed since she hit the tour as just a teenager a few years ago, and converts on the 4-7. And so Rathgeber 20 pins in the first, spare up, Buckner going for a double. Now, Buckner's been in a slump on television. She hasn't been able to do much on TV, and it's not nervousness. She's got 7 career titles. She's been there before. So, you know, she really wants this one.
Now, you notice she came through that one a little faster than the one she did before. The old snap coming back into her game a little bit.
And the left-hander's baby split. Okay, Coach, what do we do now?
Well, usually we want to hit both pins with the ball. That's the way we're going to...
Looks simple enough.
Simple enough. Catch the 2-pin on the outside, on the left-hand side.
Seems like I read recently that a pro should be able to convert this 3 times out of 5.
At least.
Like
at least.
However, there was one of the times that it was not converted. So, with a split, the first Open of the Dallas Classic Finals. And let's watch it again, Chris.
Pam goes through the shot. The ball hooks on the back end a little bit high into the 2-pin and does not deflect off into the 7 as she would have wanted it to.
Now, one thing she has to do is put that right out of her mind, right?
Yes, she's got to forget about it and just go out and make a good shot.
Let's see if she does. Holds that ball high. Third frame. Buckner coming back. Ooh. And she has quite a following as you hear the crowd react, but the 3-pin wobbles and remains on the lane.
She's quite an animated bowler, and it's very difficult not to get wrapped up in Pam. Everybody loves her. The 3-pin could have fallen over. It wiggled and it wobbled. Last night in the position round, she had a 9-pin that did fall over, so.
Seems as if she's holding the ball higher than she has.
Yes, she is. I think she's trying to get it to swing a little better.
She's had an excellent career as she converts that single pin to go 28 through the second, spare in the third. And now Rathgeber with a lead of 12 pins. There you see the story visually. Our director Bob Steinfeld and his crew showing you the situation. As you know, our bowling fans like to see that score visually on television around the United States. So there's Rathgeber striking.
Good shot for Lisa. She knows that she's got Buckner on the ropes, and she gets a little extra 10 pins here and there. Kicks that 10 for a strike.
Rathgeber, we talked about it earlier. She made an error when she was on the verge of victory in the third match of the U.S. Open Finals. We haven't seen much of her since. You know she'd like to erase the memory of that and come back strong and win here. She qualified fifth, meaning she has to win 4 matches to win the championship. And she strikes.
Now we have a double. She really has Pam on ropes. Pam has to get down to work right now.
Rathgeber 40 pins in the second and a double up. Buckner 28 in the second and a spare up. Trailing by 22 pins, Buckner in the fourth, hiding behind that red bowling ball. Ooh, she comes up high, and there is another split for Pam, and this is a more difficult split than the one she failed to convert earlier, the 4-7-10.
She seems to have gotten the ball to the right of her target, and when it started to hook, it's going to be a little bit further into the pocket than she wanted it.
Pam Buckner, the resident pro at MGM Grand Lanes in Reno, Nevada. How about it? Nice try.
Close try.
But she has dug herself a hole, Chris.
She certainly has. She's going to have to start striking real soon.
Watch it again.
She came through the ball real well. Just a little too much of that 4-pin. Almost had a chance to catch it off the wall.
And you don't pick that one up 3 times out of 5.
No. I think the odds are more like once out of 5.
So Buckner is 54 pins and open through 4 frames with 2 splits that she failed to convert in the first 4 frames. And here in the 5th for the likable left-hander. There's a good shot.
There's an excellent shot. The ball hooked a little bit later, and what we call rip the rack on the 5-pin. Send it screaming over to the right-hand side of the lane.
No doubt those dancing pins. Bowlers love to see those pins dance and fly.
Have to make the pins work for you, not just the bowling ball.
Okay. Rathgeber with the lead that you see. She's on a double in the 5th. Boy, did she barrel that ball and leaving the 10.
A little high, caught a break. That could have been the same type of split that Pam left. Comes through the shot, probably a little bit to the left of where she wanted to hit. A little high, breaks up that 7, and then Messenger comes over, takes out that 6, leaving her an easy spare.
And so Rathgeber has 3 strikes in 5 frames, and that translates to a lead of 35 pins halfway through this opening match against Pam Buckner. And Lisa coming up in the 6th frame. Winner of this match to play glamorous Dana Miller out of your part of the country. Chris Zahn, you're out of Arizona. Dana, the pride of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And she's just a few hours away from us.
Look at that. 1984 1 championship and 3 championships in 1983. Outside the pocket there, and all of a sudden there's just a bit of an opening for Buckner after that tough washout.
When Lisa goes through the ball, she goes around it a little too soon, takes some of the hook off the ball, thereby leaving her the washout, including that 8-pin back there.
Right. 1, 2, 4, 8, 10. Not technically called a split, but very difficult to convert.
You have that head pin, so it's not considered a split. But she made a very nice shot.
She went after it confidently.
Comes through the ball, hits the head pin on the left-hand side to slide it over to take care of that 10-pin.
Yeah, this is great television sports enjoyment. We've been covering a lot of different sports and over 20 years of doing radio and TV sportscasting, and this certainly is as good as anything you'll see in television sport as Pam Buckner charging through and chipping away at Rathgeber's lead. Now there's a double by Buckner as she struck in the 6th frame, and now she trails by 20 pins.
She came through the shot a whole lot better than she's been coming through. A little slower, gave the ball time to roll, and it didn't jump on the back end like it's been doing.
Buckner in the purple skirt Still alive. Now she can further chip away at Rathgeber's lead. Going for a turkey here in the 7th.
As you can watch, Pam gets really animated and into the shot. She made a good shot. She knew she made a good shot. She just was excited that she carried.
She's hot.
Right in the pocket, right where she wants to be. Late falling 10, but it doesn't matter. It went over.
So Rathgeber, having converted. Now you see that 5-pin count in the 6th frame. That hurt her score in the 5th.
It certainly did. She's going to lose some count, and she's going to have to pick it up real quick.
Oh, does she respond to the charge of Buckner?
Best way to pick up count is to get your strike after a spare.
So now Lisa can breathe easy, or easier, as her lead is 10 pins. Now, a few moments ago, she was ahead by 35, but Buckner's turkey has narrowed Rathgeber's lead down to 10 as Rathgeber comes up on a strike in the 7th. And you know, she'd like to keep Buckner at bay by striking here in the 8th. Let's see. It's a big shot in this match. Let's watch it. What a shot.
She knew her lead had dwindled down to 10 pins, and she had to do something about it.
Let's take a look at Lisa's footwork.
Nice, even, steady steps, knee bend, follow through.
That's an important part of the sport.
Yes. The knee bend sets the stage for the direction your ball is going to go.
Now Buckner going for a 4-bagger in the 8th frame. Going for 4 in a row. Brooklyn side. Leaving the 5. Well, she didn't throw that one very well, did she?
No, when you cross over like that, you hope that you cross over enough to carry it. Maybe hit that 5-pin and send it forward or something, but she didn't get too lucky on that ball.
It appears now she has been using the same ball almost throughout the match. Has she changed it all? Do you know?
No, she just her speed seems to have changed.
Making the conversion of the single pin. So Buckner is 133 in the 7th and a spare up in the 8th, and now is trailing by 21 pins as she comes up in the foundation frame, the 9th, on an 8th frame spare. And here Pam looking for maximum count, looking for that strike to give her that big foundation for the 10th frame. 21 pins down, definitely still alive in the opening match of these Dallas finals.
She caught a little bit of a break there. 5 and the 10 were the last 2 to go, but as we said before, they went. She comes down the lane a little light. It hits, comes off the wall. There they go.
So Rathgeber is on a double. Here's Lisa in the 9th on that lead of 21 pins over Buckner. Leaving the 6th.
That was a similar shot to the 10-pin she left on that lane a few frames ago.
Winner of this championship has to win, has to beat a very tough competitor in Aleta Sill, the tournament leader. And of course, that top-seeded player, Aleta Sill, just has to win one match to win the $5,000 top prize. Rathgeber converting the 6-pin. And so right now, it is Rathgeber leading by 20 pins at the end of 9 frames. Rathgeber entering the 10th frame on a spare. Buckner will enter the 10th frame on a strike. So Rathgeber with a chance to shut out Buckner here in the 10th.
She needs the first 2 strikes to shut her out.
There you see her ranking on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour for this year. She dominated the sport last year. 10th frame. She did not get that first strike, so Buckner will be alive when she comes up in the 10th frame, no matter what Lisa does here.
Lisa's a little high. Could have been a good shot. Could have carried. Solid 4.
And we hear a murmur in the crowd here in Dallas.
Now they know that Lisa's giving her room now.
Lead is down to 19 pins. So should Lisa Rathgeber strike on her final ball of this match, she would shoot a 202. It's been a good match. Make it a 212. Okay? 212 if she strikes on the last ball. Right now she is 19 pins ahead of Pam Buckner. This woman who debuted back around 1980 is just a kid with big goggle glasses on. Remember that?
Sure do.
She's grown up.
She has become quite a lady.
Big shot for her as she shoots a 212. Does Lisa Rathgeber out of the Tampa, Florida area, Tampa Bay area.
Comes through the shot nicely. Ball carries all the pins. She had to have that.
And now Buckner needing a strike. Actually, needing more than one as we have the first ball in the 10th frame. She must strike here to stay alive. There's number one.
There's number one, and as you can see, Pam puts everything into the shot.
Now, should she strike again and get 9, we'd have an overtime. If she strikes twice more, she would win by 1 pin.
Yes.
So here we are in the middle of the 10th frame. Again, you see she's chopped that lead down to 9 pins, Chris, and she needs to strike here in the middle of the 10th to stay alive.
She's not a quitter, believe me.
Pressure.
Shot.
A little early in these Dallas finals for this kind of excitement. Only in match number 1, making you wonder what's ahead.
Well, with her being our most experienced player out here, you can expect something like that from Pam.
Look at that reaction. Now, 9 pins and we have a tie and a roll-off. A strike and Buckner wins. Final ball of regulation. Rathgeber wins. She left the 4-7. Oh, Buckner leading the 4-7, coming up high on her last shot. Bowled a 2-11. Rathgeber bowls a 2-12, and that should be 2-12 for Rathgeber, I believe. We have apparently some type of dispute as to what the final score is. Now, we're going to have to take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to leave you hanging as to who won this match and as to what the final score actually is. And it is Rathgeber 2-12 and Buckner 2-11. So that's what the final score is. Rathgeber has won it with a 2-12 to Pam Buckner's 2-11. And that is official. For the first match, Rathgeber winning, there you see it, corrected by 1 pin. We'll be back with more action after this. Now we're back for our second match. And again, it was Lisa Rathgeber winning over Pam Buckner 2-12 to 2-11 when Buckner left the 4-7 on her final shot. Had she just left the 7 pin, we would have gone to a roll-off. Had she struck, she would have beaten Rathgeber by a pin. But now, here are 2 familiar adversaries, wouldn't you say, Chris?
I'm certainly sure they are.
They've played each other on and off television. And Dana Miller starts with a strike. She has really been coming on strong. Her dad is in the audience, Gary Miller.
Dana makes a very good shot. She hits the pocket exactly like she wants to. All 10 pins in the pit.
And up comes Lisa Rathgeber. After her narrow victory, Pam Buckner kept charging like a racehorse, making a move in the stretch and just being nosed out.
I don't think she knew she needed the 9 pins. Nice shot for Lisa.
So we're strike to strike in the second match. Now let's point out, Chris, that this is the position that Rathgeber enjoys. Many times she has been tournament leader, needing just to battle the survivor of the early television matches to win a title, and hasn't won as tournament leader. She likes to get that momentum going by coming up through the pack in the televised finals.
Some people need to warm up to loosen up. One game sometimes is not enough for such an important thing as a title.
Second frame for Rathgeber. And leaving the 4-pin and coming away rather unhappy with it. She thought she had the strike.
She thought she threw a good shot. Could have tripped it. It's still wiggling.
Nice gleaming white pins we like to see on television here. Connie Cotton and Dick Leatherwood, the co-owners of this beautiful establishment. Bold Dallas, Texas. A 42-lane house and lots of enthusiasm. I suppose you wouldn't think of Texas as the bowling capital of North America, but I'll tell you, I am pleasantly surprised at the tremendous enthusiasm for bowling in Houston and in Dallas.
I think it goes along with the Texas enthusiasm for everything they do.
Now, the left-hander from New Mexico. The familiar bend of the knees and a strike for Dana Miller. So, she starts out with a double. Another look at Dana.
Nice and easy through. Good lift on the ball. Checking to see where it went.
Dana Miller, who has some Osage Indian heritage, graduate of the University of New Mexico, an excellent field hockey player while at New Mexico. But this is her sport, and she leaves the 2-pin. And she always, she can't hide her reactions. She has more facial reactions, I think, than, well, Pam Buckner's right up there with her as far as facial reactions on Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour.
Pam gets into it with her physical reactions also a little bit more, I think.
So Miller converting the spare in the third frame. Dana Miller, 49 in the second, spare in the third. And another look.
We have a routine spare for Dana here.
Now Lisa Rathgeber. Both of these women have shown the ability to score in the clutch on television. Rathgeber trailing by 9. The winner of this match is going to have to work for it.
She had a definite look of determination on her face that time. Nice shot.
Rathgeber, 40 pins in the second, spare in the third. And as you see, we're in the Lone Star State at Bold, Dallas. Dana Miller, 49 pins in the second, spare in the third. And we have Rathgeber. There you see it visually. That's how we stand right now. Fourth frame for the woman from Florida. Oh, high through the nose. Tough splits.
This one she should attempt to convert 2 of the pins at this point in the game. She doesn't want to try to make the spare. Very
4,
difficult.
6, 7. And she did just what you suggested. And Rathgeber is open. 68 pins in open after 4 frames, giving Dana Miller quite a lead here of 21 pins, though we're very early. Now against Pam Buckner, Rathgeber led by 35 pins at the end of 5 frames and saw Buckner charge back and lose by only 1. Here we are in the 4th for Dana. Whoa.
She wanted that one. Definitely wanted that one. You could see by her reaction when the ball hit the pins and the 5-pin ripped the rack.
Her mother, an excellent bowler.
Yes. Dee Miller is a great professional in her own right. Her father's a good bowler, and so is her brother a professional.
Her dad, I said kiddingly to Gary, her dad is watching here in the audience, I said, hey, when's the last time you threw a 300? He says, oh, Dwayne, it's been at least 4 months.
Talented family.
Fifth frame. Miller looking for a double. Oh, yes.
She shows you how to blow the rack from both sides of the lane. She comes through that ball with her characteristic snap. Hits the pins, and they just fly every which way.
Seems to me that away from the tour, she's really been working on her game. She was in a slump there for a while.
She also works out in Nautilus equipment and weight training and things like that. She's a totally all-round player.
Another excellent athlete, Lisa Rathgeber. Lisa going Brooklyn for the strike in the fifth frame. So Lisa trailing by 31 pins, and she's just trying to stay in the match now.
Crosses over the head pin, but with enough impact to carry all the pins. So she's quite happy about that one. That's a gift.
All gifts are accepted in this sport.
For sure. There's plenty of times when you think you should have gotten a strike and you didn't.
Now Rathgeber trying for a double, which would narrow Miller's lead to 21 pins. Sixth frame. There it is.
She got it. They say to always take advantage of a break. A Brooklyn is a break. Put a next one in the pocket, and now she has a double.
So each player is on a double. There you see Miller's lead of 21. Now the winner of this match will play another superbly talented woman athlete on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, Robin Romeo. Now here's Miller in the sixth frame, looking for 3 in a row. Oh, almost got a break, but leaving the 4-pin.
She got a break to begin with. She could have had a split on that. It was high enough to have left the 6-pin. And that looked like what was rolling around down there on the deck trying to take out that 4-pin.
Coming up with a spare here in the sixth frame, Dana Miller. So it's 118 in the fifth and a spare in the sixth for Miller. And right now, Miller leading by 20 pins as she lost a pin of that lead with the 9-pin count. On the right of the screen, second person to the far right, you see Dana's father, Gary Miller, retired police chief from Albuquerque. And almost a split. She was flirting with it, but no, just the single pin.
She has enough revolutions, or revs as we call it, to knock that 10-pin out. Enough pin action.
And leaving the 5. This is supposed to be the easiest pin to pick up.
Oh, it better be. It's right in the center of the lane.
So you can miss a little bit in the right or the left and nick it, and you really got about half the lane to convert the spare.
It's a typical strike ball shot.
And Dana does pick it up for her second spare. However, with a couple of spares by Miller, Rathgeber is creeping back. Lisa now trailing by 19 pins. And Rathgeber, who has often taken advantage of her opponent's mistakes in her fine 2 years, in 1983 and 1984, especially in 83, when she stormed to the Bowler of the Year award in the United States for women. And here she leaves a cluster, the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8.
And she's lost a lot of wood on that particular shot. We mentioned earlier how important it is to keep your count high, which Dana has been doing. That 5 count's going to cost her a few pins.
And it costs her pins 2 frames earlier in the 5th because she was working on a double. And she does convert the spare. And so Rathgeber, who started the frame 19 pins down, is now 24 pins behind because of that leave.
That could be a tricky spare because of that blind pin in the back, but she covered it quite well.
So Rathgeber, who had a 5 count on a washout against Buckner and picked it up, here has a 5 count against Miller. And she doesn't want to see any more 5 counts, I don't think.
Definitely
you, Chris?
not.
Not trailing by 24 pins.
Can't keep losing 4 pins at a time.
8th frame. Rathgeber trailing by 24. That is an excellent shot.
Good shot. She has a lot of lift on the ball, a lot of pin action. As we said before, the pins need to help you a little bit too.
Now we see Dana with some tape on her left hand. On her fingers there.
She's probably attempting to relieve some strain on her muscles. She may have pulled a muscle or something.
Yes, you get pulled muscles in this sport and assorted injuries. Oh, she comes in high, but strikes.
I guess you'd have to say they're even now. Lisa carries a Brooklyn, and now Dana carries the beaker.
The what?
The beaker shot, a little high. Everything just falls down. Theoretically, that should not have happened. You know that, Dwayne.
Each woman on a strike. We're into the 9th frame. Dwayne Dow with Chris Zahn. Second match of the Dallas Classic Finals. This is Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Top women's professional sports excitement. Dana Miller looking for a double in the 9th.
She takes advantage of the break. Light hit, splashes the rack. Now we're looking at another double.
And time is running out. The frames are running out for this woman, Lisa Rathgeber. If she is to survive here, she just has to strike and hope for a break from Miller in the 10th. Ninth frame shot for Rathgeber. And this match is over for all intents and purposes. Failing to strike there for Lisa has given Dana Miller the win in this match. And so it'll be Dana Miller. You see Dana seated. And you know right now she's thinking about that next confrontation. It'll be Dana versus Robin Romeo, a very tough opponent in the 3rd match of our Dallas Finals. So Rathgeber, who survived Pam Buckner by 1 pin, 212 to 211. As we approach the 10th frame of this match with Dana Miller, we'll just try to get a respectable score. Still has a chance for a 200 game as we go into the 10th frame.
She wants to keep her score up. We do have different categories of awards, and average is one of them.
Well, 88 players started here in Dallas. What a field. Some women from the Dallas area and from Texas and Louisiana, as we see the first strike in the 10th for Rathgeber, swelled the field, and it marked the start of the regional program for Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour.
Yes, it did, Dwayne. We've been attempting to start the regional program for some time because there's a lot of women out there that enjoy bowling. They enjoy the competition, but they just can't take the time from the responsibilities of either home, family, jobs, and they still want to bowl. So it meets a need that it's very definite in the United States.
So with the popularity of the regional program, when the big leagues came in, the LPBT with their great Dallas Classic, why, those women really came out of that regional program in droves to enter this field.
It gives the girls the opportunity to play in a national stop against all the named players. They will be allowed to bowl within their region when the national stop comes to their region.
So you know the Commissioner John Falzone is going to have Texas on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour agenda, I'm sure, for many years to come. Rathgeber opened on her final shot, so she shot a 192. And now Dana Miller has had a good first game in these finals. She's on a double coming up in the 10th. Now the match is over. What is she trying to do here?
She just wants to keep her stroke. She doesn't want to lose her concentration. Looks like she did a little bit. She might have slowed down, but she doesn't want to do that because she has to keep her momentum up so that when she goes into the next match, she doesn't have that emotional letdown. So that sometimes comes when the match is one-sided.
Seems to me that she usually does very well when her father, Gary Miller, is in attendance. And Gary is just to her left, watching. You see him on the far right side of the picture there. And the spare for Dana Miller. And so Dana's in the 200s. And if she strikes on her last ball, that would be a 224. An excellent game against Lisa Rathgeber. Rathgeber is going to finish in 4th place. And that'll be worth $1,200 to her. And there you see the story with Rathgeber shooting her 192 and Miller with a chance for a 224. Let's see if she can get it.
She makes a nice shot.
There it is.
Yes.
And so, in our first 2 matches, Dan and Miller had the best game, a 224 to Lisa Rathgeber's 192. Now, 2 matches left to decide who's going to run Dallas on Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Rathgeber is out, and it's Miller versus Romeo next. As you see the names on the pennants of our finalists, we are ready for the 3rd match of the finals. And there is Gary Miller, Dana's father. Gary watching his daughter and rooting for her, trying to bring home the bacon to Albuquerque.
I think you bowl a little bit better when somebody from the family's around. It's just a little bit of extra psychological support.
And the only right-hander left, still warming up as we take a look at Dana, is Robin Romeo, Dana Miller's opponent in the next match. And Dana Miller with a practice shot before the 3rd match of the Dallas Classic Finals. And Dana, you know, wants that victory, which would be her 2nd for 1984. Robin Romeo, on the other hand, as we look at Dana's father, was out injured with a bad hand almost all of 1983. And now is back and constantly making the finals again. So we are ready to go. 3rd match of these finals in Dallas. Leading off, Miller. Dana, 27 years old. Her opponent, Robin Romeo, also 27 years old. Miller, who shot 224 to Lisa Rathgeber's 192. And with help from the crowd here in Dallas, a strike.
Doesn't look like the layoff helped hurt her any little
She's
bit.
right back at it.
Excellent shot. Trips that 6-pin down. You need to keep the pins working for you.
Robin Romeo, our first look at the likable right-hander. Born in Brooklyn, New York, currently calls Beverly Hills, California home, and a rather weak shot there, Chris.
She seemed to go very straight up the boards, straight down the line on that shot. The ball did not hook as much as I think she thought it was going to. The pins carry everything but the 2-pin. A
lot of
routine
action.
spare. Routine spare for Robin.
Trying to keep the match even in the first frame. Winner of this match plays the youngest woman in the finals, Aleta Sill, out of Florida. She is the tournament leader heading into the televised finals. Boy, what a job she did. We'll talk about it later when Aleta makes her appearance in the championship match against one of these 2 women. Who will it be, Robin Romeo or Dana Miller? 2nd frame for Romeo. We're tied.
That time, Dwayne, she got some of the extra pin action that she expected on her first shot. Carried that 2-pin.
Another look at that shot from Romeo.
Just about as light, but now you see them all taking care of each other. I have a little trivia here for you when she makes her shot, Dwayne.
All right. We'll have a little Chris Zahn trivia after this shot. Dana with a lot of turn there.
She must have known I needed to talk about the fact that her and Robin have met once before this year on television. Do you want to know what the outcome of the match was, or do you want to guess?
Well, I should know it, but I probably forgot. Go ahead.
Well, they bowled against each other just once, and Dana won. So what do you think's going to happen this game?
Well, I don't know. Oh, do you have the scores on that one? Well, here's what happened so far this week between the two. They bowled in the match play, and Romeo defeated Miller in the match play phase of the competition, 213 to 199.
So now they're even.
But you can throw all those records out because this is what counts right now. In the third frame, Miller looking for 3 in a row. Boy, she has really gotten out of the gate in recent television matches, and her dad approves. Gary Miller, a late blooming professional in his own right, who just in recent years joined the men's tour.
He's a very good bowler, and he knows how important it is to come out of the gate real well early.
Now that good-sized crowd in Dallas watching the woman from California. And Robin Romeo with a double.
With a good solid double on that shot. She didn't stand around and wait for the pins to help each other that time.
There you see the story. Romeo trailing by 10 pins, and we are 3 frames into this third match of the Dallas Classic Finals. The stepladder format in bowling, which has just made the sport. The old days, it was a lot of fun to watch in black and white. 2 people bowled 3 games over an hour. That's not the way it is anymore. Whoa-ho. A turkey for Romeo. So those pins are really falling.
They're falling. She trips the 4-pin out on this shot. This has been a fairly routine shot this week. If you get it high in the pocket, usually you can trip that 4 out.
So we are even at this point. Miller has been perfect through 3 frames, looking for a 4-bagger. And she left the 4-7.
She was a little high on that shot, obviously into the other pocket. As you see the ball cross over, it didn't cross over quite as much as she needed to carry what we call the Brooklyn head, leaving the 4-7 for her to shoot.
This angular, and I'm going to say this, Chris, on deceptively strong left-hand player.
Yes. As we said before, she works out quite a bit with weight equipment. She keeps herself in very, very fine shape.
She's played basketball. I understand she was just an excellent field hockey player for the University of New Mexico. And as we all know, field hockey is a big sport on the college level for women around the United States.
That probably helped her get into the competitive frame of mind and come out here on tour.
Well, she's a competitor, no doubt about that. She's now trailing by 2 pins, coming off a spare. This is the 5th frame. Oh, she's outside the pocket there. The 139, a double wood spare, always tough.
A little more difficult because you have to get the correct angle going into that spare. If you're a little too far to the right, in her situation, you'll leave that back pin, that blind pin. And if you're also too far to the left, she has a chance of doing the same thing. She needs to hit it squarely on the 1-3 side. Just what she didn't want to do. Went a little too high off that side. Left the 8-9 pin in the back. See, she knew she wasn't going to carry it. No, she's dug herself a little bit of a hole.
Well, all right. Now Romeo, whose lead has gone to 16. Robin, hungry for a title. Been a while since she's won.
It's been since Tempe.
That's right, back in Chris Zahn's home area, Tempe, Arizona. Maybe you'll be the good luck charm for her in the booth, Chris, because here's Romeo now on 4 in a row. And what a memorable performance in your home area, Chris, and your home lanes.
That was,
Tempe Bowl.
without a doubt, one of the best performances we've ever seen on television. She's opened the first 3 frames. Everybody thinks she's going to lose. She strikes out and wins the match and wins the title.
9 consecutive strikes at that time. Now she's on a 4-bagger, a lead of 26 pins against Dana Miller in Dallas. 6th frame. And the run of strikes comes to an end.
She seemed to be a little bit inside of her target on that particular shot. Probably caught some oil, and the ball did not react quite as well. It hooked a little bit later, pushed that 5-pin over, but in front of the 7-pin instead of into it and knocking it over.
And there you see the story as we have it right now. That translates to a lead of 25 pins for Romeo. Staying clean. She started with a spare, then rolled 4 consecutive strikes, and then a spare in the 6th frame. So Dana Miller, who was in the same position but on the plus side in her previous victory against Lisa Rathgeber, now has to fight from behind. She is coming off an open frame. No, left the 4-pin there.
That one crossed over. She seems to be having a little trouble on that lane now. It might be breaking down a little bit for her. She possibly may have just thrown the ball a little bit slower, but then that's 2 in a row she threw the same way on that same lane.
This is Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour action from Dallas. 3rd match of the finals. Dana Miller's spare in the 6th frame. Now she struck in her first 3 frames, but has not been able to roll a strike since the 3rd. She has gone spare, miss, spare in the last 3 frames.
She needs to get back to doing what she was doing those first 3 frames.
That's the way we stand right now.
And you can see where she's losing a little count also. That 8 count was on a double, or the turkey, so she lost a little count there. And same thing with that 7 count. She was on a spare, so she lost a little count as well as the open.
Now in the 7th. She's outside the pocket, and there's the spare on which she erred a couple of frames ago. So she's had some practice shooting this one, Chris.
She should know how to make it this time.
But again, this is a tough spare. Oh, I tell you, just as the clunker bowler that I am, I always hate to see one in the dark back there.
They're tricky. You have to play them just right, or else they'll stand there and stare at you.
And let's see if she can knock all 3 pins down. Now she did it just the way you should, according to the textbook.
The ball took out all 3 pins. That's what she was trying for her last shot, but the ball didn't quite cross over. Went a little high, and that's how she left that 9 pin back there.
But Romeo, seated, saw her lead go from 25 to 28 pins, and now Robin up in the 7th with a good lead as we approach the late frames. Look at the white in the eyes there, that concentration, and that excellent shot.
I would venture to guess that Robin is very hungry right now. You can see it in her eyes. She wants to bowl well. She wants to win. As soon as you lose in TV format, you're out.
Well, she had such a great windup, winning on your home lanes in Tempe, Arizona, and the Phoenix area late in 1982. She was so full of hope for 1983. She made the finals of the first tournament in Florida, then had the wrist problem that knocked her out the entire year. Such a competitor, and when she gets it rolling, watch out.
Her wrist is fairly well healed, and she's on a new weight training program. She's watching what she's eating, and I think it's for the best for her, making her look real well.
Yes. Now Dana Miller in a hole. 38 pins down. 8th frame. She leaves that 4, the 6, 7, 10.
She has obviously lost the momentum that she brought into this game. She seems to be getting out of the ball a little sooner than she wants to, and not getting the type of extension that she needs.
So another open. At the end of her victory over Rathgeber, 224 to 192, she had 3 strikes and 4 opportunities, and then she had 3 strikes in a row in the first 3 frames against Romeo, but has not struck now for 5 frames in a row.
Your timing is an elusive thing. Sometimes it just runs away.
9th frame. There's a good shot. But it might be a little late, as it really is all over mathematically. Robin Romeo in the 9th frame has clinched victory, as she currently has a lead of 52 pins, and this one's over. So we're going to have a right-hander versus left-hander matchup. And if you know any bowling fans in the vicinity, if they're just a telephone call away, you better have them tune in, because this is going to be a barn burner. Romeo versus Aleta Sill, 2 of the top woman bowlers in the nation, going after the Dallas Championship in our next match. And Romeo leaving the 4-pin. She's a likable woman. She was born, as we mentioned earlier, in Brooklyn, New York. And she made the move to California, said she really enjoys the competition in the sport of bowling in California.
There's an organization called Western Women, and they have a tournament once a month, and it's like a regional pro level. So it gives the California bowlers the opportunity to go out and continue to compete even when the national tour is on bowling.
All right, and the spare for Romeo in the 9th. And she is going to be solidly in the 200s. 198 in the 8th, spare in the 9th. And we'll just watch both players in the 10th frame. On Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour excitement. My first tournament that I did was here in Texas, and this woman won it, the Houston Classic, in 1982, winning the championship. It was her first tour title ever.
Those are the exciting ones, the very first one.
And the most elusive. Where did you win your first title?
I haven't yet. That's how elusive it is.
Yeah, but you've won some things on a regional level,
yes,
and on
I
a
have.
state level.
Yes.
You've cleaned up, I know that. WIBC, you've done well there at times. Well, it's a wonderful sport.
It's a great sport. It's so family-oriented. That's what I think most people like about it the very best. You can take little children all the way up to grandmom and grandpop, and they all get to bowl.
You said it. After a first strike in the 10th, here's Romeo's second shot in the 10th frame. And Robin leading the 5-pin. If she converts that, she'll have a 238, and that would represent our biggest score in 3 matches.
Which puts Robin on a roll going into the last match. She has her momentum. She knows where she wants to play. She's warmed up.
The gentleman on the far right of the screen is Dick Leatherwood, co-owner of Bowl Dallas. He lost his sight a few years ago. He knows all of these women by their voices, and he is seated there, and it appears to me he is enjoying this as much as anyone.
He knows what's going on out here. He had his sight long enough to appreciate what we're doing. He's known a lot of our players even before that happened to him, and he can find his way around this bowling center without anybody helping him.
And the 7-pin lead for Dana Miller. Another good finals for her, even though she hasn't won this tournament. She obviously is back with her game, showing confidence. That great whirling dervish style that she has. A lot of fun to watch her bowl.
It is. She's very outgoing, and you can see what she's thinking. She's on an emotional high, I think, right now. She won the previous tournament. She's just signed with Brunswick, and she is on the David Smith close staff, so she can't ask for too much more to be going for.
She shoots a respectable 187. Robin Romeo shot a 238 as we take a look at the writers from the Dallas area who have given this tournament such excellent press coverage. Romeo wins it, and there you see the final tally. as it's Robin Romeo versus Aleta Sill for the Dallas Classic Championship on Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Stand by. One of two women, either Aleta Sill or Robin Romeo. As we look at the onlookers, and now the championship. On the left is the #1 player in the United States today in this sport among women, Aleta Sill. And there you see how they did against each other. Romeo trouncing Aleta twice. But here we are, where Aleta Sill does maybe her best work with the television lights on in the championship match. First frame in Dallas. And this demure, attractive left-hander with great strength starts with that confidence and that game face that she's famous for.
Straight face. She's not showing any emotion. She's going to concentrate as hard as she possibly can.
But this woman assuredly will give no quarter. Robin Romeo. It's California versus Florida. A 10-pin for Robin. Needs the conversion to keep it even in the first frame.
Robin is equally as determined. The ball was a little weak in the pocket, leaving the weak 10. 6-pin just seemed to sit in the channel there and not want to help out.
Romeo looking for her first win in almost 2 years. Sill looking for her 4th win this year. Even at the end of 1 frame. And Romeo will bowl the second. In age, Robin's a little older. She's 27. She has 3 career titles. Aleta, seated now behind Robin, is 21. 6 career titles. Second frame of the championship match, a light hit for Romeo, giving Sill the early lead.
Dwayne, she pulled that ball slightly to the left, somewhat similar to the 5-pin she ripped and not left and not carried that 7-pin in the last game. She was over in the oil a little bit. The ball did not finish, and now she's left herself the 2-4-5 spare. Lost a little count because she was on a spare.
She took out the 2 and the 4, but left the 5-pin.
Quite easy to do. Chop that spare.
This is how Robin reacted.
She knew she had a chance at missing it. Whenever you have more than 1 pin up there, you have that chance of chopping it. So obviously you want to leave just that 1 pin so that you don't.
A great many times champion and defending champion here in Dallas. She won here last fall, Aleta Sill. Oh, brother, you give her an opening, and more times than not, she will charge through.
Aleta made an excellent shot. She extended through the ball. Watch her reaction. She knows it's there. Yeah.
Interesting, my friend in Chicago, Jim Dressel of the Bowler's Journal, in a current issue, wrote that we finally have found out who's going to take Earl Anthony's place.
Aleta Sill. That's quite an honor.
Oh, what a performer. What a champion. She starts out like a house of fire. 3 strikes in a row, putting the pressure on Romeo.
She also knew that one was there. She's gunning for this. Of those 6 titles she has in her career, 3 of them have come this year.
And now Romeo trailing by 34 pins, but we're only in the third frame. A lot of time for Romeo to make it up. Here she strikes.
You could see in her face as she released that ball, she wanted to come through that shot. She wanted that strike.
So Romeo disappointed at that error in the second frame, but now she has to put that behind her as we see a lead of 34 pins by Aleta Sill, who was perfect through the first 3 frames. Romeo trying to double in the 4th championship match. Over the second arrow and into the pocket.
She's been down before, but don't ever count her out. She can bowl under pressure, and she's showing us that she's doing it just right now.
So Aleta waiting. Up she comes in the 4th, looking for a 4-bagger. Aleta, the possessor of a black belt in karate. Zero in it.
Do you notice that extension, how she just gets out there and threw the ball? She knows it's going to strike when it hits the pocket.
And that ball really breaking hard into that 1-2 strike pocket for the left-hander. This woman was brought up by her grandparents in Detroit. They encouraged her to bowl back when she was young. Now she lives in Florida. Going for 5. Yes. So Aleta Sill with the first 5 strikes in the championship match.
She goes to the shot. It goes a little to the left, comes back a little light, but uses the pin action off the wall. There goes the 5-10. She likes this pair, Dwayne. She shot an average of 237 on this pair during the tournament.
Romeo going for a turkey in the 5th frame. And getting it. So Robin Romeo trailing by a lot of pins right now, 34, halfway through the match as we go to the 6th frame, and now Romeo will try to put a 4-bagger on the scoreboard.
She knows she has to keep matching those strikes that Aleta is throwing. She has to make up for that open also.
What a job this woman did in the match play portion of the tournament. 18 wins and 6 losses.
She had
the better records.
The best record. When she's through, I'll tell you a little story of why she got there.
The rack came down, or possibly one of those pins might have fallen. Maybe she's in better shape with that. With that 3-pin still standing.
That makes it a makeable spare, where the other one, the 4-6-10, is not as easily makeable as this one is.
This is the 3-4-6-10. And she's open.
She had a shot.
Open for the 2nd time in 6 frames. Now continue with your thought.
When she was home between tournaments, she and her boyfriend were talking and looking at her match play records, and they have not been very good over the past couple of tournaments. So the one thing that she planned on working on these last 2 tournaments was her match play record. And last week she was 18-6, and this week she's 18-6.
Well, whatever they discussed, certainly it's paid off. Now that big lead for Aleta Sill, going for 6 strikes in a row. She's halfway to perfection. 6 strikes in the first 6 frames, and there.
That's David Sill. That's her husband. He's just sitting there waiting anxiously. He should look a little bit more happy than he does when his wife's got the first 6. But he's a bowler himself, so he knows what she's going through. And
there you see it. 6 strikes in a row for Aleta Sill, and a big lead going for number 7. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first 7 strikes with 5 more to negotiate. Oh, brother. Romeo responding with a strike in the 7th frame. Now, last year, here in Dallas, Robin's opponent, Aleta Sill, shot the first 300 of last year's tournament, which was not on television, in the early stages of last year's Dallas Classic. And for that 300, she won a brand new automobile.
Not only was it the first 300 for the tournament, but it was her very first 300. What an opportune time to throw it.
Romeo looking for a double in the 8th. And leaving the 4.
Robin was a little high with that ball. I think she's a little left out right now. She knows that Aleta is on such a roll.
The real drama left in this match is how far can Aleta Sill go. So, perfection through the first 7 frames. Strike, 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 strike. 7 in a row for this woman as she pursues her 8th consecutive strike in the championship match here in Dallas. The last 300 game on the men's tour was 14 years ago, in 1970. I don't recall, certainly never, on a ladies' pro bowlers tour telecast has there been a 300. Going for 9 in a row. We're not going to see it, Chris, but what a thrill for this crowd.
I think everybody's hopes were really up real high. And if anybody had the shot to do it, it was Aleta Sill.
I don't think in covering this tour over the past couple of years I've ever seen anybody throwing the ball like that for so many frames in a row. And here she's open. But after 8 strikes in a row, she's open in the 9th with 232. How would you like to be open in the 9th frame with a 232?
I would take that any day of my career. I'm sure it could win in almost every match.
Romeo in the 9th, leaving the 10th. And Aleta Sill has clinched victory here in this match. And the only remaining drama is she going to get that big 260? Is she going to roll 2 more strikes, which would give her a 260 game? And, you know, everybody would like to see it, maybe even this woman, Robin Romeo.
Robin's a very true competitor. She always feels that she wants to win, but when she doesn't, she's very gracious.
Well, it's over for Robin. She is open in the 9th, as was Aleta Sill. So Romeo is 158 through the 9th and open. That's the way it stands. And Romeo will be the first of the 2 finalists to bowl in the 10th frame. So Aleta Sill has won her 4th title in 1984. Now, as our scorer, Fran Wolf, and tournament director knows, and as you know, Chris Zahn, we were last year in these telecasts around the United States talking about who's going to be bowler of the year. Is it going to be Lori Nichols? Is it going to be maybe Nikki Janulius? It finally was Lisa Rathgeber.
I think Aleta has a jump on it this year. She has already tied an LPBT record with this win today. She's won her 4th title this year, and it's tied a record.
And had it not been for a great performance by the Japanese bowler Inahashi in the Queens, Aleta would have won the Queens because she had an excellent championship match in losing. And there you look. at the #1 woman bowler in America, and maybe in the world, Aleta Sill. Well, she won't have to shoot that one. Robin Romeo winds up with a 176.
Aleta now sets also another record, Dwayne. She becomes the first woman ever to pass $40,000 in winnings in 1 year, twice in a row.
She's got a long way to go. Boy, hey, she could push 100,000 this year.
Quite easily.
There's some big ones coming up, and she starts in the 10th with a strike. So, one more strike, and she has a good shot at a 260, which would be one of the top performances on television in the past couple of years. Last year, Lori Nichols did shoot a 267 in Rochester, New York, and winning the tournament there. And it won't be a 260 game, but it is going to be possibly a 252. And look at Dave Sill, Aleta's husband, seated behind her. Got his arms folded. Maybe he's used to her winning.
Oh, I wouldn't say he's used to her winning. He knows what she's going through right now. He likes her to win.
And I'm sure he wanted to see the 300. She was just 4 strikes shy of a 300 game in the championship match in Dallas. Aleta Sill, who got a big hand when she walked out of the lanes, and there's the embrace with her husband.
Now, that's a better reaction.
Aleta Sill, 252. Robin Romeo, 176. And Aleta Sill was primed for the championship here in Dallas. What a performance by this woman. 8 strikes from the first frame on in the championship match. A romping victory, 252 to 176 for the championship in Dallas. And she did it as defending champion. She came back and won it 2 years in a row. Always a tough performance. And accomplishing that, the champ of Dallas, Aleta Sill. Boy, I'll tell you something. You were dynamite.
Well, I'm surprised at myself. I was very nervous, and I just wanted to come out and make good shots.
Now, if you're going to stand there and tell me, Dwayne, I wasn't even thinking about that 300, I'm going to walk right out the door.
Well, after the 8th one, I was thinking about it, but yeah, I just, I was so nervous in the 9th ball. I'm surprised I even got down the lane. I threw it so slow.
Boy, just 4 strikes. We've never had a 300 game on television, and I thought you were going to do it, my friend.
Well, I wish I could have, but I'm happy with how I did.
Yeah, 4 titles. Hey, you've got a chance if you can get hot between now and the end of the year to maybe push $100,000 in earnings. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be great. I'd really have to do some really good bowling from now on to do that.
Well, anything to add, Chris?
Aleta, congratulations. Which pressure is tougher, trying to win a title or knowing that you're the first woman to almost throw a 300 game?
Trying to win the title is the most pressure for me.
Now, let's bring up the woman with the hardware, one of the top women in all of Texas bowling, Connie Cotton, co-owner of Bowl Dallas.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Aleta. We're so happy that you love Dallas because we love it when you come here and do such a beautiful job.
Thank you very much.
You're going to have to help me hold it.
Okay. I just love Dallas here. The crowds have been great all week, and we've had a lot of support. And I'd like to thank Ronnie and Patty Rhodes for the Pro-Ams, and I just love it here in Dallas. And I'll be back next year.
We hope. You better.
Going for 3 in a row.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try.
All right. The champion, the #1 player in the sport of bowling among women in the United States today, Aleta Sill. And for Chris Zahn, great working with you, Chris. A fine job. And to our fine production crew from Dallas, where Aleta Sill is champion of the Dallas Classic. This is Dwayne Dow saying so long till next time.